Greetings from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to GSL Codes. Tasteless Artosis here. How you doing, dude?
I'm pretty fantastic, Tasteless, and do you know why that is?
I have no idea. If you tell me.
Well, because the best Protoss in the entire world,
Yes.
perhaps the best player in the entire world.
I actually knew that's why you were excited, but you know.
Well, why did you say you didn't?
For
Now
the
I
sake-
feel like a fool
For
for
the sake of
explaining
good
it.
theater opening up the show, I had to kind of, indulge you.
You're ever the professional, Tasteless.
I got my hair cut and colored.
Oh, that's right, you did, yeah.
It's black now. I'm emo. I'm a goth nerd.
No, you look,
Pick a high
you
school
look really
category,
good.
I'll go with it. I like it. I'm happy with
really
it.
good.
I got it done right before
It
the
looks
show.
way better before. Before it looked like someone
before it was like getting really thick over here.
No, I know. Before it looked like someone was standing behind you with a stick that had a dead possum on it and just holding it over your head. But now
That
it
was
looks like
actually
you
what
just
I was,
have a nice haircut.
That's good because that's what I was going for was the floating dead possum.
Yeah, I know.
So
It worked, I guess.
I
because
pulled
that's
it
what
off
you look
well,
like.
I thought, but I'm going with this look now. So this is the last Protoss we get to cast for the round of 32. Protoss have been pretty sparse in this season.
Yeah, no, we've only had 5 make it into the entire season of Codes. 2 have gone forward so far, and that is Squirtle and MC.
Yes.
And this is our last chance. Creator and Huck already out. Parting, that's it.
You really can't ask for 2 better Protosses, though, besides parting. MC, of course, especially getting through there. I think he's got a lot of potential to even get to the finals.
Yeah,
Squirtle as well, but MC
be honest,
was just blowing me away with his strats and his execution.
The only Protosses that were really missing this season were Hero and Rain. I mean, that's the best Protosses in the world would be represented completely in the season if those 2 had made it in as well.
One thing about
the
the Protosses
solid
that we got for the seasons, even though they're small in number, besides those 2 you named, you couldn't ask for better players.
Yeah.
Better representation.
No,
Zerg's still doing very well right now in this season, too.
That's right. We have 4 of those through so far. Only 2 Terrans so far, which is kind of interesting. But we'll definitely get more Terrans this week.
I think once we get to the round of 16 and get past that, then we're really going to have a good idea of who's really playing well. Because, you can have a bunch of Zergs at the start of a tournament, but let's say that, less than half end up getting through. Then that changes everything. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But a lot of other good players playing today as well. I'm super pumped.
Yeah, this is a really exciting group, Tasteless.
Yeah. So as you can see, this week's group, today we're going to have Ryung, Lucira, Byun, and of course Parting, we've been talking about this whole time. We got some other interesting groups here too. For instance, Group F, 3 Terrans.
Yeah, and that has MVP and MKP in it.
It harkens back to last year.
Yeah, the odds of MVP getting out of that group are pretty high.
Yeah.
Then, of course, we do have Nesty's group as the Group G.
Yes.
And then Group H, of course, has Stefano. This is a really exciting week, man. Every one of these groups is
I think
very
Stefano
awesome.
can get out of his group too. Stefano,
It's definitely
I think,
a
actually, out of all the
possibility.
corners we've ever had, I think Stefano is the one most likely to win a GSL.
Do you think so?
I thought maybe Idra, and then probably
Idra back in the beginning, I thought had a very good chance.
But this time around, I think Stefano, he doesn't seem to be one of these foreigners that can beat the best except for the top 10 Koreans. I feel like he can pretty much beat anybody.
That's true. He does have a tough group, though, there with Innovation and DRG. But let's talk about today's group, Tasteless.
Yeah.
Ryung, Lucira, Byun, and Parting. And this is going to be just fantabulous because Lucira finally back. He didn't make it in a Codes at all last year. It's been a long,
he's been a little bit off the map, actually.
Yeah, but he's still been one of the best Zergs, so it's like this very frustrating thing that's happening, but he is back,
and what's interesting about Lucira is this was a guy that when he was in Codes, he was almost always losing his first hatchery and still winning. So
true.
He's had an opportunity now to refine his skill there. And this is going to be really cool going into this. Our players shake hands and go to their respective booths. And this match will be starting very soon here.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm so excited. I'm really excited about Parting, but I'm actually just about as excited about Byun playing today.
Yeah.
Because he is the player with the most stamina. He played the longest game ever in GSL history in the up and downs against Hero. So he's going to be a lot of fun, especially if he gets to play this guy, Ryung, because that TVT could be very long.
No kidding, man. He's, and by the way, I think Ryung, best positional player I've ever seen.
He is, yeah.
Even a whirlwind, he's able to to corner a Zerg.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
insane.
astounding. Now he's such a bright mind in StarCraft 2. Look at that 8th code S. Damn.
That's actually crazy. I didn't realize he was in that many.
Yeah, no.
I guess I associated him more when we first started casting him in Team League, but yeah, sure. He's been here for a while. This guy was also mentored by Slayer's Boxer. I'm one of the few chosen to be mentored by him.
This guy's a badass for sure.
Sure.
Axiom, they have their own team house now. I'm sure that he's in good spirits. Things seem to be looking on the up and up as far as his team goes. So hopefully he'll be well practiced today to take on these sick badasses in this group. But he's going to be fighting against someone who had a pretty big, unceremonious drop. He got 2nd place, got slamizzled by Nesty, and finally he's back.
Yeah, Lucira, he's definitely showing us that he's a player that's going to be around and around for a while. Even though you're right, he did get slammed in those finals. That was incredibly one-sided.
Yeah.
No shame to losing an ST.
Yeah.
Creator of the universe.
That's that.
Of all the seen and unseen.
How could there be? Well,
excuse me. Just to ask you a quick question, your predictions going into this match, because I think it's going to go to Ryung, but do you think Lucira can take this?
He definitely can. I think that Ryung will maybe take this 2-1 over Lucira. I have no idea what's going to happen with the group overall.
I think 2-1 is 2-1 or 2-0 for Ryung.
I think the only thing I'm pretty sure about is Pardon getting out because he's played so well recently. But by the way, as you may have noticed in that player profile before of Lucira, he plays with his keyboard way slanted.
Yeah. You used to do that in StarCraft 1.
I do that, yeah. It's,
you don't do that as much as StarCraft 2,
Not as much, but the reason that it was really good in StarCraft 1 for Terran players is because when you have like
you were
7
heat up to like the number 0 from 1 to 0.
Late game, as a macro Terran in TVZ, you would actually have, and you had to use hotkeys. You would have 8 or 9 hotkeys of Marines, and so it was actually infinitely quicker to go 1 through 8A for attack move.
Yeah.
With your keyboard slanted like that. So I suspect that's why he's carried that over, because I do the same thing with my keyboard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, our map is going to be Neo Planet S. Just fitting for a tournament code S.
Yeah. It's been a pretty fun map so far.
There's some clear techniques Terran can utilize here, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's better for Terran, but there's definitely a lot of stuff Terran can do.
Mech is pretty popular here.
Makes sense. The siege tank's so strong.
Yeah.
Up against the walls.
Indeed.
Around the center.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, it's time to start our first game today here this week, so get ready. This is GSL. In the upper right, we have our Terran player, a master positional play, and sponsored by Total Biscuit, he is...
Action. Yeah.
Those stickers on top of his keyboard? Let's check.
Actually, I didn't notice.
Let's check next time.
All right.
In the bottom left, the GSL finalist, he is...
It definitely could be, especially because he was on a team with Boxer back in StarCraft 1. Boxer pulled every key he didn't use for Terran out of his keyboard, and then some of the more important buttons that were far away from there, because you couldn't change your hotkeys in StarCraft 1, such as O for siege mode, which is way on the right-hand side that you don't use as much. Boxer actually used to put stickers on his keyboard.
That's so smart. I actually did that.
Raised key things.
I used to take a knife and scratch up certain keys so that I could feel it was like a texture was there.
Yeah.
When I do it.
I looked for the same things Boxer had, but I couldn't find them in America at the time. But anyways, this was a really interesting opening by Ryung that we haven't really hit on that much yet.
So we got some Lucira support here today.
Well, this is an offensive eBay, and he's done it twice now. Ryung actually rushing over on a 2-player map to slow down the expansion of his opponent. Now, will he try to push this forward by getting a gas and going quicker Hellions because he's going to have less time for creep or something like that? Or will he just say, okay, this is messing you up? Because Tell me if this isn't messing him up, Tastes. I mean, he's got 4 or 5 drones on there attacking non-stop.
Beyond that, it's also completely screwed up whatever build Lucera had coming into here.
Yeah.
You know, he's probably that build is built to memorize all the way up to when he gets maxed out, ideally, and now that's been completely toyed with.
Yeah, his production is going to be a little bit slower. His second queen definitely slower. There's a lot of things that are actually pretty annoying about that engineering bay block. So, kind of cool to see Ryung doing that. That was something that we saw a little bit in StarCraft 1, but we really haven't seen from Terran against Zerg very often in StarCraft 2.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to see what the follow-up here for this is.
Yeah. And I like this offensive gas, by the way, of
well, it's a smart move because this way, whatever Ryung had planned once he messed up Lucera, most likely is not going to be exactly the way he wanted.
Yeah.
Which is a really good move here. So that way they're both going to have to improvise a little bit going into this.
Now, notice he's canceling, and some Zergs choose to cancel, some don't. You can make it live longer, but of course you're going to lose a certain amount of minerals, 6 every time you cancel. I'll be interested to see if he finishes off with a cancel, because right now he's spent 12 minerals canceling.
Sure.
So if he does that too many times, then suddenly
he's in a deficit.
Yeah, it's like, well, why didn't you just let it finish, you know? But no, I mean, its health is getting so low, you'll probably just get rid of it one more time.
Another remake over here. And that's going to probably be the last one for sure.
Yeah.
As the third Marine pops out, DPS is just too great.
Indeed.
Did he cancel that in time, or did?
I didn't actually get to see, but I think it probably was canceled.
Okay.
I mean, 3 Marines kill it pretty quick, but not that quick. All right. Well, you know what? This is actually, I want to throw something out there that I didn't think of when he first did the engineering block against Lucera. Lucera makes more queens than any other Zerg in this matchup.
Oh, I see.
We sometimes see Lucera go, you know, more than even, you know how, remember when 6 queens was pretty popular for a little bit?
Yeah.
We've seen him go more than that before on 3 bases, so that definitely could have something to do with it. Kind of sniping the specific style of his opponent, something like that.
That's smart, actually. We'll see. I guess we'll have to find out later on, but yeah, that could definitely be the case there.
Yeah, it could have had something to do with it.
Link speed on the way now. And there's probably going to be a small amount of downtime here, since they can't really attack into each other.
Especially with that third command center making. I mean, Ryung has 0 options to put on any real attacks. Only light Hellion pressure, really. I mean, Lucera could get an attack going, but does he really want to? Not so sure.
Now, we're probably going to see a lot of passivity here from both players. Now, the third base is a little bit harder to acquire than a map like Entombed Valley. You're a little bit farther away than is convenient. But I don't know if that's going to affect the Zerg too much here if the Terran's going to 3 command center right away.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. In fact, Lucera throwing down 2 evolution chambers, not at all surprised to see that. He loves to have a very Ling-heavy style.
This is smart. He's not using this to harass. He's using this to scout. He wants to see what the hell is he doing.
Yeah.
Because now both these guys have messed up their builds. He messed the opposing player's build up. Neither one of them made a big mistake here. So,
well, the one thing that this Hellion definitely has done that's nice is it sees 4 gases and no layer being made.
Exactly.
So that's a pretty useful thing to see. You did see 2 EVAs going up at the front, but sometimes that's just a wall. Normally you do get upgrades out of it, but that might make him, you know, a little bit wary just in case. You know, you never know if a Baneling Nest is going to come down. We're going to see some target Banes or something.
Another queen on the way here. You summed up pretty well, Artos. This guy does love making queens.
Yeah, he's already going up to 6, which used to be really popular. Not as much anymore.
How long has it been since we casted Lucera?
It's been a little bit for you and I because he's been out of Code S for quite a while.
I was going to say, like, it's one of those things that you don't notice until it's really pointed out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess that's right. If we had cast him, it would have been an overseas event.
Yeah.
Not actually here at Code S.
In the last year, we definitely cast him several times at overseas events, but not, I don't know if we cast him inside of Korea.
Oh, no. The stacked upgrades here on the engineering bay.
Oh, that's a huge mistake.
Attack and obviously armor should be at the other eBay, but this is one of those mistakes you just can't make. Upgrades are game breakers.
Yeah.
When it comes to a game like this where it's pretty clear they're both investing in the late game.
No, that's kind of a heartbreaking thing to have happen to Ryung right now. You know, he actually set up those upgrades so he could basically keep up with Zerg, but As is, Zerg is going to double his upgrades, basically.
Yeah. Well, we'll never know if Ryung was intending to go for mech, but that didn't work out because his second gas was taken here.
Yeah, I think he probably wasn't going mech, because if that made you not go mech, then either you are like ridiculously on top of every single thing in the entire world, or you already plan to go biotank.
Well, you know, with Ryung, I mean, it's always possible too.
Yeah.
If he does this eBay opener, that there's more than one little branch that he can go out here.
Oh, that's definitely true. Yeah.
There's definitely not, I mean, the start of the eBay opener is not overly complex to pull off for the Terran, so it's possible there's actually several branches of this. We might even see Ryung actually do this a lot against Zerg this season. I don't know, because we don't see the other Terran players doing it, which means that more than likely in practice the other Terran players are not doing it in practice. We don't see it on TV, so we're probably not going to see the other Terran players doing practice, which means the Zergs might not be as prepared against it.
To be honest, what I would love to see more than anything is Ryung go on to the next round to just see if he does it versus Zergs other than Lucira. Because that would tell us a lot about, was this a specific Lucira snipe or was this something else? All right, well, we do have Hive on the way. Baneling's speed is about to finish a lot of queens out right now. Creep spread, absolutely fantastic from Lucira. And Ryung's starting to do a little bit of pushing, but he's got to be careful because there are so many Lings of A's. In fact, Lucira is going up to 8 queens.
All right, he's going to come in here and try to push back any efforts for the creep to come out here. Now, one problem, well, not a problem, but one burden with when you get the Hellions like that out early, you're only able to stop creep from one side of the map, because if they stop it at the top, they can still push from the bottom. But whichever side you're pushing back the creep on, that's also a signal to the Zerg as to which side you're going to push with your Terran army.
That's actually a very good point. And this creep spread is getting downright scary, to be honest. And Ryung is actually hunkering down, which is an interesting choice here because this is a really, really fast Hive. So, when you hunker down against Hive, this is a 3-base Hive, though, which this should be noted because let's say he's on 4 or 5 bases going to Hive, you have to be attacking. But on 3 bases, he can't really afford to go like Broodlord and Fester right now. You know, this is... I bet you this is a little bit more aimed towards upgrades than anything else. Maybe throw down Ultralisk Cavern or something like that, but definitely wants to get his Adrenal and his 3-3 as quickly as possible.
So he's bringing it to the late game here. You can see he stopped drones at 75, and I think it's probably going to stay at 75 unless some drones get killed or something.
I would say so.
And he's going to go straight to the Ultralisks. Yeah. He did not get a Spire at all, right? He didn't,
no.
He didn't even, it's not like he made one and didn't make anything? Okay.
No. He's totally content to just utilize his queens as his anti-air, and look at this creep, man. This is actually getting kind of frightening. I'm actually starting to get some chills because this creep is pushing so far forward on both sides.
Well, you know what's interesting about it? When you have those 8 queens like that, I mean, that's so many. Oh, that was a big mistake. Losing 2 infestors, probably the first big one we've seen from Lucira. When you have that many creep tumors out there, you have to basically be uncontested when killing the creep tumors in order to get rid of all of them. Look at that. Look, this doesn't even take a short amount of time.
Well, we have some Ultras on the way. The 2-2 has finished up now for the Zerg army, and in fact, the 2-2 not yet done for Terran. So that was a reasonable time to go in, but the spacing of Ryung right now is really, really good. If the Lings try to run back, they just get hit by more and more siege tanks.
All right, Ryung is starting to push forward here, but this is a pretty heavy distance to get all the way across to. Not to mention Zerg can keep expanding to the bottom as this occurs.
Now Ryung just being very good with his positional play, as always. Pushing forward slowly but surely, not getting too far onto the creep, but as these Ultras come out, I feel like it's going to add that extra damage, extra tanking that Lucira really needs to push Ryung back.
All right, we got the Banelings coming in here now. Destroying the depots. And they're going to go right for these SCVs. Can they get away?
Oh! Pretty well done there.
What was that, like 10? 13 kills.
Okay. In the meantime, we do have the Ultras coming out, a ton of Lings and Banelings coming up here now, and it looks like Ryung's going to have to run back. Just way too many Zerg units here, and his Marines continue to retreat. There's still these Infestors in the back, though. He has to be very careful.
That was a good runaway there from Lucira. He pushed him back about as far as he possibly could, and then said, all right, I'm going to regroup, and it looks like he's going to attack up here where these depots are about to finish the wall in.
Yeah.
It's not clear if Ryung's aware of that. If I was Ryung, I'd probably be going up there now, and it looks like he is now.
Yeah. Now, you know what I really love about this style that we're watching here, Tasteless, from Lucira? It fits together so well, so smartly. You know how he has 8 queens? Well, he's bringing those now with his ultras to heal them mid-battle.
Great use of transfusion.
Yeah, the creep spread's so good, the queens can actually get in near the battle, which is a very rare circumstance. So Lucira has just set himself up in such a nice way here. And
he's definitely got his own way of playing this, too. This is not, neither of these guys are playing a standard TVZ as far as tech routes or openers.
Ryung, though, starting to do some harassment, and this is really nice because with only melee units and nothing that flies, it's going to take Lucira a long time to get down here, and Ryung should be able to pick up pretty easily.
Yeah, it's a smart move. Yeah, as you said, he cannot punish flyers. Yeah. I mean, without flyers, you can't punish this. Now, with the army being pulled back towards the bottom here to defend, it does look like, once again, Ryung is going to come out here and push back on the creep. Now, what I'm worried about for Ryung here is beyond this little drop, not a lot of damage has really been dealt to Lucira as far as his infrastructure goes. Although, again, if he gets this hatchery, then I would have to eat my words.
Well, Ryung is starting to hit multiple locations at the same time, so this is helping him out quite a bit. Even though Lucira is blocking this, Ryung is keeping him busy, and look, the creep spread is receding on the top.
All right, he's cleaned up 2 medevacs so far. Both players are essentially maxed out right now. Now, check the upgrades here on the Terran Artosis. Is he behind? Did he recoup from that mistake with the upgrade earlier on?
He almost has. He's got the +3 attack. His +3 armor is still on the way. Not quite done, but it'll
equalize eventually.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Now here we go. The huge attack incoming. So many Ultralists running forward, closing on the tanks very, very quickly. Good targeting here by Ryung. But these Ultralists dealing a ton of damage, and the Banelings connecting with quite a few Marines.
Yeah, it's just Ultras, and that's when you need to book it out of there. And it looks like, meanwhile, Druckman over here in the upper left is going to wiping out that hatchery not being canceled, and he did manage to transfuse those Ultralists, so that was a risky situation, but he actually pulled out and got, he's just fine now. Oh, sick.
Very good move there. But yeah, this is looking really good. The fact that he's transfused these Ultras and kept them alive, you know, it's situations like that where you're going to lose 2-3 extra Ultras just trying to get out, and it starts to become cost inefficient. But Lucira just keeping them alive, adding to that Ultralist count, and mixing in Lings and Banes as he can. So his army's still so scary here.
Now, this is a cool little defensive move that highlights what we were talking about with Terran having some techniques they can use on this map. The siege tank army is behind the ridge over there, just below where this screen is. Looks like there's some indecisiveness here from Lucira. Looks like, okay, he will be going in here now.
And here we go. The Ultra's actually getting up to those siege tanks, hitting a lot of these Marauders as well. Ryung not fighting quite enough, but there's so many units here that he may not even be able to. Now the Spy Depot wall is not able to be lifted, but he does choose to run back for now. In fact, he's going to try to snipe off a factory.
And this was going to be not canceled, it looks like. And no. Too much going on right now for Lucira. That's 2 hatches he's lost that he could have canceled.
And Ryung's still trying to pick off this hatchery, not quite able to do it yet. That's called Ultralist harassment. I love it. All right, well.
Whoa.
We actually are watching a Zerg mine from the gold minerals in the center, Tasteless.
That's right.
This doesn't happen all that often.
And look at the supplies as well here, 124 to 197. That's a pretty big difference when you consider the fact that the Terran is pretty low as far as mining from his expansions. As you can see, not a lot of SCVs here.
He's had a hard time with that third base as well. How many times have we seen Lings and Banelings run in there and mess that up? I mean, Lucira...
In fact, if you want to know, it's 40 SCVs to 75.
Yeah, and he's got the gold base. So, I mean, gold base is like Zerg has mules now or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. And now this base, I actually think we're about to see the end of this game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Whether or not Ryung leaves, I mean, this game's basically...
well, how do you come back from here?
Impossible to recover from if Lucira is in the driver's seat for Zerg.
Yeah. This is I mean, Ryung is still doing a good job flying around with some of these drops and whatnot, but Lucira just continues to add to his unit composition. He's continuing to turtle up, throwing down spores, spines, and all that, and that's going to make drops less and less effective. It's going to allow him to be more and more mobile. His creep spread is right back to where he had it before on the top. Everything's working out so well for him.
Lucira is back and with a pretty wicked vengeance here.
Yeah, he's a bit vicious.
Yes. And I think we're slowly seeing Ryung kind of get choked out here. There is a drop over there at the at the gold base here. If he can get that, actually, the hat's such great too.
Well, that certainly hurts the economy here of Lucira.
Oh,
boy. Whoa.
Oh, that was weird.
Oops.
Did he 1A that?
Yeah, I think he 1A'd it because he probably thought, okay, these will just attack me because he probably had on a move before.
Yeah.
So, oh well. Does it make a difference? Not so sure. Ryung having such a difficult time actually mining.
The unfortunate thing is, even though we see Ryung doing some great harassment, doing some damage, if you guys have noticed, the supply is exactly the same because he's losing everything he's sending out too.
Yeah.
He's just keeping keeping the Zerg from attacking him, but that doesn't really help that much if you have no real way of closing it out with a win and instead stalling.
You know, his income's down to 400 minerals per minute right now. That's bad. That's worse than one base. So
that's really bad.
I mean, his supply isn't going to get any higher either. We are actually just watching.
We're watching a nerd die.
Yeah, that's it. So this should be the last attack, most likely.
Yep, and then we should see GG here.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter how cost efficient
we will go into game number 2. But right now, I got to say, Lucira has blown me away, man.
Great, fantastic
really awesome play. Very unique, a lot of personality in it, too.
Yeah. I mean, this is Lucira, man. He loves his lings. He loves his queens. And this was like a really insanely good game by Lucira.
Yeah. You can see the adrenaline going through Lucira now. He is in the zone, man.
Yeah.
He played great.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm pretty stoked to see him playing this well because he's actually a Zerg with more personality than most.
Yeah,
he doesn't just like make infestors and go into broodlords. He's not very standard at all.
Yeah,
you know, he's always played in his own way with lots of ling harassment, lots of upgrades, tons of queens. And it's, I don't know, in my opinion, he's just a more fun Zerg to watch than most.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Ryung's not out of this yet, guys. Those of you watching, rooting for him. It looks like the map Ryung has elected is going to be Cloud Kingdom.
A good choice.
Not a shocker there for a Terran player like Ryung who can really abuse map control. You know, somebody like Lucira.
This is a map where, at least for the Kespa players, we see a ton of mech. Like, I don't even remember watching a bio TVZ on this.
I wouldn't be shocked if Ryung went bio. I
feel like he is going to, I have to agree with you. And the thing is, he's very good at mech. But I feel like that last map, if he was going to go mech on Cloud, why not go mech on Planet S?
Sure.
But we'll see what Ryung has planned. He obviously has something planned here, as this is his map choice.
Pushing that water bottle on his eyeball now.
Maybe his eyeball is hot.
I don't know, man.
It's overheating.
That's his Terminator eye.
Yeah. Unfortunately for him, he's Terminator 2 right now with 0 kills so far.
I haven't seen the Terminator movies in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I watched Terminator 2 like literally
once
50
a year.
times.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it so many times. It's so well done, man. Yeah. Who's the actor that was T-1000?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's the T-1000.
Oh my God, tasteless.
Derp.
I'm like, what, Sarah Connor? Come on, tasteless.
No, I was always amazed at how well casted that T-1000 was.
Yeah,
and then I was like, great. Wow, there is just something like liquid.
There's something metallic about this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally agree with you too, as goofy as that is.
All right, guys, let's go to game number 2 with Ryung and Lucira here at GOMTV.net.